Hello, hello, scientists. Welcome to Room 9, the largest classroom you'll ever be a part of. My name is Mr. Frills, and I'm here in St. Louis. I am the principal of KIPP St Academy, and I am so happy to be with you today to spend some time talking about science. This lesson is particularly for second graders, but if you are someone who is interested in learning about science, then you are more than welcome to stay. Some of the things that you might need today is a pencil and paper, but if not, we'll use our imaginations and do the best we can with what we have. Today's focus is going to continue to talk about plants. Last week, we spent some time talking about plants and what they needed to actually grow. I wanted to show you one of the plants that we planted last week and show you the growth that it's making. So look here. These are the marigolds that we planted last week, and they are blossoming quite nicely. They've germinated and they are taking off. I can't wait to see how they continue to grow because they also had water and they have sunlight, the things that they need to grow big and strong. Today's focus is going to also be about plants, but we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the plants that we eat, the type of plants that we eat, and how they work to become the nutritious things that we eat, that we need as humans. The phenomenon that I want us to focus on today. So remember last week when I asked you, have you ever tasted a strawberry? And what did it taste like and what did you notice on the outside of the strawberry? I want you to think back to the strawberry again. I want you to think back to the strawberry plant. I want you to think, what does it look like? Can you take some time to draw a picture of the strawberry and then let's see if we can label the parts. What do you already know about some of the parts? And then what do you wonder? Let's think about this strawberry plant. What do you already know about it and what do you wonder? And while you think about that, I'm going to take some time to actually draw my strawberries. While I get it on my board, you should be working on it on yours. Here we go. All right, I got my materials. Do you have yours? Let's draw a strawberry plant and see how it goes. And don't forget, Mr. Frills is not the best artist, but I'm going to try my best, just like I expect you to try your best. Here's my strawberry at the top. Colored in red. Perfect. But strawberries just don't come by themselves. Strawberries have a lot of other things around them, like leaves and dirt and stems and roots. I'm going to spend time talking about what those things do. Here's my leaves from my plant. Strawberry here. We've seen the green part of a strawberry before. And there's so many other pieces that we don't really see because by the time we get our strawberry, it's already plucked for us and ready for us to eat. But there's so many other parts to it that we should notice in my drawing. I think it's going to help us understand how strawberries grow and what they look like on their leaves. Before they're plucked. So there's leaves here, leaves here, leaves here, leaves everywhere. I'm sure your picture looks much better than mine. There's my leaves. There's some stem that comes up to the leaves back here, comes down here. This stem is in the ground, goes to the ground. And of course, because it's a plant down at the ground, it's going to be some dirt because it has to grow. It doesn't just grow from nowhere. Once a seed is planted in dirt, that's when it grows. So here's my dirt down here. But let's see, what other parts of the leaf do we have? Some people don't know this, but the strawberries at times also has flowers on the stem that you can see here. I'll show you. It looks like this. And that's where the strawberry grows out of. So I'll leave that right there. And we have some leaves here. Little petals. from the flower that is blooming in the background. But that's my strawberry plant. Let me see yours. Can you hold it up to the screen? And if you're not proud of it, that's okay. I'm not proud of this. This isn't my very best. But we have something that we drew. And you want to be able to show it off. I want to see yours. Nice. Perfect. So here's mine, my strawberry, my leaves, all these pieces that are a part of the plant. Did you know that there are so many parts of a plant and that every part of the plant has a special part and they have a job to do? I'm going to show you a bit of it today, and as we list them out, I want you to follow along to keep your eyes so we can talk more about what they do. I'll label mine in blue so you can see each part. Let's start with the first one. The first part is the stem. This is the part that goes into the ground and comes up. The stem helps in a lot of ways. Let me label it first. Stem. S-T-E-M. Stem. The stem helps transport water. So when we water the dirt, the stem allows the water to get transferred to all the parts of the plant that need it, including the fruit. Another part, root. I'm going to make the roots blue so you can see them in the dirt. The roots go all the way down throughout, and if you've ever plucked a plant from the ground, you see its roots because you know that that's what they need in order to grow. The roots help anchor, that's right, roots. The roots help anchor and absorb water and minerals so that when the wind blows around the plant, it's stuck in the ground because of the roots. And that whatever nutrients happen in the soil, the roots pass it to the stem and the stem transport all of that to the other parts. The other piece that we should note, I'll just note it right here, but there's so many of them, starts with an L. It is leaf. The leaf that we have, the leaf has a special job too, just like every part of a plant. Every part has a special responsibility that they have to do to make sure that the plant grows. A leaf takes in sunlight. And when the leaf takes in sunlight, it allows the nutrients from the sun to then go to all the parts of the plant that needs it. It takes in the sunlight. What does the leaf do? It takes in the sunlight. One more time. Takes in the sunlight. Yes, the leaf takes in the sunlight. The other thing that happens, the other part that we have, is flower. Now the flower makes seeds and attracts pollinators. Let me note this as flower. Flower. The flower makes the seeds, which allow there to be more fruit and more plants. When it makes the seeds, a pollinator, like a bird or a bee, can come by, or even a human, can come by and brush past it and carry those seeds to other places and other plants. And when it takes it to other plants, those plants are then pollinated, and they get to grow as well. So there's so many parts of all of the plants that we make to make sure that we know every single part. We have our stem, we have our roots, we have our leaf, we have our flower. We can't forget about the other one that's really important, the one that we eat. It's called the fruit. Now the fruit protects the seeds and help spread the seeds. We know that there are seeds on the strawberry. I'll put this as fruit. We know there are seeds on the strawberry. And when there's seeds on the strawberry, the strawberry allows those to be protected on top of the strawberry, as well as when people pull things from a plant, we take the fruit, which allows the seed to go somewhere else, and then it allows it to create more. So the fruit protects the seed and helps spread the seeds. So let's recap. We have several parts of our plant. We have roots, we have stem, we have fruit, we have leaves, but I put leaf, and we have flowers. And they all have their responsibilities, like every part. And as every part does, it helps the entire plant grow. The leaf takes the sunlight. The flower makes the seeds and attracts the pollinators to come and get the seeds. The stems transports the water to all parts of the plant. The roots anchor the plant so that it doesn't fall over and allows it to get the nutrients and minerals from the soil around it. The fruit protects the seed and then allows there to be protects the seed and then helps spread the seed. Everything has its part. But there's so many plants. I have a few plants that are my favorite plants that I want to show you. Do you want to see them? Oh, I couldn't hear you. You got to say yes. Do you want to see them? Great, perfect. If you say yes, then I want you to follow me. Okay, so I brought you to the oldest plant in the house, and I'm going to show you so many more. But this one's called a ZZ plant. You can see the ZZ plant sits outside the window, sits next to the window, so it can get all the sunlight, because we know that leaves have a part, and the part that the leaves play is to absorb the sun. So you'll see the ZZ grows pretty tall, and it's probably the biggest ZZ I've ever seen. I'm really proud of it. But you'll see that it has stems that come up to the leaves, and then you'll see that there's some stems that didn't make it, so those will cut off. But then down below, if we get really close, you can see some of the roots that exist down below. And those roots help get all the nutrients from the soil that exist here. Let's go find some more plants in the house. Let's go see what we've got in the house. We've got this little guy, also a leaf, that also has leaves. This one is interesting though, because the leaves are so sturdy and strong that if I can tap it there for you. The leaves are so sturdy and strong that there really is no stem to this. The stem is all the way down below because the leaves are strong enough to hold it up and pass all that's needed through the plant. And then of course the dirt is down here. Here's the other one. This is the biggest plant in the house. This plant is somewhat like a palm, and it has a really sturdy stem. You can see the stem is really sturdy as I shake it up there. And there's roots down below. The thing you'll notice about all the plants in my house is that none of them have fruit. We don't grow fruit in the house. I wish we did, but we don't. So there's one plant there. Let's see if we can find some more plants around the house. Let's see. Sorry if it's so dark, but we're just doing a little tour around the house. Let's see. Here's another plant here. This one is called a little leaf fiddle. And this one is probably one of my favorite ones, but it'll grow to be nice and strong and has really strong leaves as well. You can see that the stem here has the same material just like a tree bark, where it's really strong and sturdy and it holds it. And you can see at the top here, some of the roots are even coming out of the top, which maybe we need to pot it again, but that's one. So goodbye to that guy. Let's go to this one. This one is the newest one in the house, and it is growing so nicely. This is a new leaf right here. You can tell by how bright green it is. There's more here, and you can see all the little stems. You can see another one growing down there. You can see below where we have the dirt and all the things that you would need to be a strong and healthy plant. Look at it. All right, let's see some more plants. Let's go downstairs and take a look. Okay, here we have one of our biggest plants in the house. But the stems, although they still do their job of getting water to the leaves, sometimes the leaf is too heavy for the plant to hold it, for the stem to hold it up. So what we did for this one is we tied some sticks to it to help it out, because the stems are doing their job of getting the water to it, but they're just struggling to keep it high up in the sky and straight up, which is okay. Some plants just need a little help. So we tied a little rope to it and the sticks help it out. You'll also know that notice that this guy is pretty new and is growing, and when it grows tall, it'll open up. I can't wait to see how tall it becomes as it continues to grow. You can see down there, The roots are there. I can see roots right here, right there. Just roots all around. And then these massive, look how big that leaf is. It's bigger than my hand, probably bigger than my head. Massive leaf. Let's see what other plants we have in the house. Here's one right here. This one's a Fiddle Leaf Fig. Just like similar to the one upstairs, and you'll see that this one is growing wide and the other one upstairs is growing tall. You can see that these have really sturdy leaves as well. And then the roots down below, there's roots sticking out here. You can see that, those are roots, little roots. And then again, the thing that I like about the Fiddle Leaf Fig is that there's those stems feel like tree bark sometimes. They're really hard and sturdy. Another plant, well, this is just flowers, so those won't grow, but you can see that the stem down in the water, the stem is there, and they were cut from the root. So they won't grow anymore, but they're good for decorations. Here's a new plant in the house. This one has these really nice leaves and they leave a little pattern. You can see the stems aren't as tall, but this one, this leaf is about to open up. And when it opens up, it'll look like these guys. But the stems are pretty low here. If you go down to the roots, you can see roots down there. All right, one last plant. This plant is in my favorite pot. Pot is so pretty. But you'll see that these stems, sometimes not all stems go up. Sometimes they come down. When they hang down low, you'll see that they kind of sometimes give a little different type of look to the plant. So when these get bigger, they'll likely fall over, tilt over, and hang down below here. This guy, you can see different plant. You see the stems. You see if you get in, see if we can get in there. You see the roots. And we know the roots are keeping it solid and strong, so you can't move it. And those are all the plants that we have in the house. Look at it, so pretty. Okay, now that we've had our little tour of all the plants that exist, so some of the plants that exist in my house, I want to take a moment for us to just stretch it out. You've been sitting there watching me walk around the house all this time. Now it's time for you to get up and stretch it out with me. So today, keep your eyes on me. Today, we're going to spend some time doing something pretty quick and chill. So let's pretend that you're a plant reaching towards the sun as you try to get your energy. So our hands are up. We're reaching towards the sun to try to get our energy. We're going to lean to the side. You're going to lean to the other side. Ugh. You're going to lean forward. Shake it out while you're down there. Just hang low and shake, shake, shake. And then you're going to bend back just a little bit to get yourself awake here. Perfect. So now we're ready to learn. Let's do it. Whew, glad we were able to do that. So there's some other pieces that I wanted to make sure we knew that I think is very important. The first is, I wanted to tell you about this thing in science that you could possibly be one day. And it's called a scientific illustrator. A scientific illustrator is someone who takes the time to make illustrations and use those illustrations to teach us about science. And they have to know science pretty well in order to do this. But obviously, Mr. Frills is not the best scientific illustrator, but there are some people in the world who are really good at it. And they spend a lot of time learning all of the science that they can and using their their artistic skills to make sure that the models and pictures and representations that they make allow us to learn from them, allow us to learn the science from them. These artists draw and render images of scientific subjects that are accurate in a way that inform and communicate all the things we need to know about the science that we're studying. Scientific illustration is more than just artwork. It's a way to communicate really complex concepts and details and subjects and they allow us to engage in an easy and comprehensible way. Artwork can go beyond the complex language often used to describe scientific topics. So sometimes science becomes a little too complicated to understand with just words, but the pictures allow us to understand it much better. And that's because of a job in science called scientific illustrator. So if you ever wonder, when you're reading a book or reading a textbook or looking at something online, who did it? It likely was a scientific illustrator that did it because they allow us to learn more from it. Take example for this book, for example. There's a lot of illustrations in this book. This book is called The Moonflower by Peter and Jean Lohr. And you can see that there's so many detailed drawings in here that allows us to learn so much. You see the stem, you see the leaves, you see the flower, you see this little pollinator that comes by and goes into the flowers, little spider up here, little cat here. There's so much that's drawn, but the only way that we can see it is by having a scientific illustrator create it for us. And that's so helpful. So scientific illustrators are super helpful in having us understand it. And maybe one day you can use your artistic skills and your scientific knowledge to become a scientific illustrator. Who knew? The next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was thinking about how we can continue our learning at home. So we've learned about the plant. We learned about the plant and all the parts that exist and the things that they do, the fruit, the stem, the leaf, the flower, the roots. All of them have their parts. But can you spend time over the next week exploring nature? What do you see about the trees? What do you see about the animals around you? And think about what questions you have. And those may be some of the things that we cover in our classes. So let's quickly recap what we learned today. We know that plants have different parts, and each part has a specific job that helps the plant grow to get what it needs. Some plants depend on animals for pollination, and others make flowers. This plant makes flowers, and we know that all the parts around it have a specific role. What was your favorite part of a plant? My favorite part is always the leaf. Because the leaves are so pretty. I showed you my plants, and those leaves are so pretty, and I'm so proud of them. But the leaves are my favorite part because once they get the sun that they need, they take off and they grow and they feed the rest of the plant. What's your favorite part? Take a moment to think about that, and then take the week to find and explore more things in nature. So just like I said, this week you should be spending time thinking about and exploring things in nature. Things like plants, things like animals. I have an animal at home which we can start to explore. And I appreciate every single one of you for hanging out, even though the science lesson's over with, to check in with our friend Lizzo. Lizzo is a bearded dragon, and Lizzo knows exactly when it's time to eat. And I wonder how Lizzo spends her day. I'm not entirely sure, but I also know that Lizzo probably spends a lot of time thinking about when the next meal is gonna come. So we're gonna spend time feeding Lizzo, and then just thinking about the things and observing the things that Lizzo does, as she is a creature, an animal that lives. And we can explore so many things about her. So let's first make sure we get Lizzo some water. Oh, looks like Lizzo has water, so we're good there. Let's get Lizzo some roaches. Lizzo knows what time it is. See the roaches almost empty. Gotta give Lizzo some more roaches. So Lizzo's been struggling a little bit to find them, so I'm gonna try to put them as close to Lizzo as possible. We'll start with just a few. Let's see. Nice, Lizzo. There's one running away, Lizzo. All right, let's see if we can get a little bit more of Lizzo. Another one. Another one. Another one. Nice, Lizzo. She's getting them. Wow, look at Lizzo's bent her entire body around so that she can get the lizard, so she can get all the crickets. Let's see what else we can get Lizzo. Oh, there's another one right there, Lizzo. Nice. All right, let's see if we can get Lizzo a couple more. Lizzo's doing a good job catching them now. Oh, this one fell upside down. So we'll see if Lizzo can get that one. Sometimes she doesn't get them if they aren't moving, which makes me wonder. It makes me think that Lizzo uses her eyes to know when food is moving. And every part of Lizzo has a role that it needs to play. Lizzo's tongue has a role that it plays. Lizzo's eyes, Lizzo's hands, Lizzo's tail. So many parts of Lizzo that make sure she has all that she needs to be as strong and healthy as she needs to be. What do you wonder about Lizzo? Don't forget, we're exploring this week nature. That means things like animals and plants. We know what Lizzo eats. She eats roaches. She sometimes also eats crickets. What else do you wonder about Lizzo? And can you spend time figuring the answers out this week? Can you ask your parents or your grandparents or an adult that lives with you any questions that you might have about the things that are around you? That's how we explore and learn more. We ask questions, we look for answers, just like scientists do. As Lizzo now searches for that last little roach that crawled in, we're gonna leave her alone, but I hope you all have a fantastic weekend and continue to learn and grow those brains. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today in teaching room 9. We are so glad to have you. We'll see you next week. Bye, second graders.
Teaching in Room 9 is made possible with support of Bank of America, Dana Brown Charitable Trust, Emerson, and viewers like you.